Hi everyone, and welcome to a review, the very first review of this channel. It is a route add-on for Train Simulator called the Wherry Lines, whatever. It's a route pack which takes you from the town of Norwich and goes all the way over to Great Yarmouth and also Lowestoft. And it's kind of in a triangular shape with those as the three endpoints. Who makes the Wherry Lines? Well, it's by a company called Armstrong Powerhouse. If you don't know who they are, I would highly recommend you going to their website. They do high quality sound packs and scenario add-ons and actually some locomotives from rolling stock for Train Simulator. They tend to focus on reality. So all the scenario packs are kind of based on real life timetabled services, and they try and make things as authentic as possible. So, I mean, off the back of that I'm a huge Armstrong Powerhouse fan, as you can probably tell. I've got most of their scenario packs, and they are, like I said, of a very high quality. So when I heard that they were making a route, it was a case of just take my money. They are, tend to be, like I said, of a superb quality, and I knew that whatever they produced route wise, it was going to be something special. So yeah, that's kind of basically what it is. This route takes you from Norwich all the way down to sort of a fork in the junction, and then you go off to the sort of north east to Great Yarmouth, and then to sort of like the southeast to Lowestoft. You get a lot of scenarios with it. It's all actually based on the Class 37, which is sort of a top and tailed service at the moment, operated by DRS. It's actually 25 real timetabled services on this Class 37, going from both Norwich to Lowestoft, Lowestoft to Norwich, and obviously Great Yarmouth to Norwich, and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, as you can see in the background, it looks phenomenal. I'm kind of lost for words how good this pack actually looks. I mean, you look at the detail they've put into it. They've put in something like 28 custom-made semaphore signals with kind of accurate sound, absolute blocking simulation. Some of the bridges that they've put in there is like super realistic. There'll be highlights in the video as you kind of watch in the background. But some of the swinging bridges that they've put in to carry over the Norfolk Broads look absolutely phenomenal. So in terms of sort of the 5 things that I look for in every review, or every review going forwards, in terms of longevity, playability, variety, authenticity, and value for money. If you look at the authenticity part of this, well, I don't live near Norwich. I've been to the Norfolk Broads on holiday, but this looks as close to the real thing as you could probably possibly do with the engine that Train Simulator currently runs on. It looks brilliant. The sounds are phenomenal. You'll go over welded rail, you'll go over jointed rail, and you'll hear the sound changing. And it makes for a really brilliant sort of feel experience. Like I said, there's 28 custom-made semaphore signals. You'll look at them. There's realistic telegraph poles for the UK. Yeah, it's made by Armstrong Powerhouse. It looks phenomenal. In terms of the other elements, I mean, once I've kind of got it looks amazing out of the way, and it's really high quality, and the scenarios that go with it are obviously highly detailed in terms of accurate working and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of the good out of the pack. there's a few things with it that, in terms of the other elements, that kind of hinder the pack, if that's the right word. So, you know, what else kind of, in terms of the longevity bit? Well, from kind of me looking at all the scenarios and kind of exploring the route in detail, the longevity bit is a little bit questionable for me. It tends to be, off what I can see, all passenger working. You know, I've gone through all the different routes, and you can see it here on the screen at the moment, kind of the map. It is just passenger stations. So if you compare this with West Coast Main Line North, which is absolutely my yardstick for all routes, and I'll get onto kind of a full review of that in due course. But that place has got, you know, it's got 2 container yards, it's got a mail depot, it's got multiple different routes that you can go around. I think it's got a quarry on there. It's definitely got coal filling points. You've got shunting, you've got goods workings, you've got passenger workings, you've got express workings. And in terms of that longevity piece on here, it's not Armstrong Powerhouse's fault in terms of probably the longevity bit, but other than the passenger working on this route, I can't see what else you would actually want to do with it, or can actually do with it. Like I said, I don't think it's a limitation of the pack, I just think it's a limitation of the route that they've picked. But yeah, I mean, if you just want to do passenger working and are happy with that, then I'm sure you're going to get hours and hours and hours of fun off the back of this route. The playability bit, that's kind of it's that similar sort of thing. You know, they've done 25, I keep getting mixed up, 25 scenarios that, you know, it's a variety of Class 37. It's just Class 37, it's all passenger. So you have got kind of a nice variety of stuff, because there's different weather conditions, there's temperate speed limits, there's the usual kind of stuff that you kind of experience if you've seen Armstrong Powerhouse's scenario packs. But there is that kind of lack of variety in there, which, yeah, I think for me, as a routes shouldn't just go from one place to another, and this absolutely doesn't. It goes to kind of, but it is like a triangle, it doesn't do that. But it is just passenger working, and, you know, for me, and it is a personal thing, I like a bit of both. I like doing, obviously passenger working, we just stop at a platform, pick somebody up and drive somewhere else, but I like doing the goods workings, where you kind of do a bit of shunting, and you have to wait for passenger services and all that kind of stuff, and this doesn't give me that. But like I say, I think it's a personal preference thing rather than limitation of this route, because I'm sure people will have a lot of fun with it, and being that there is this realistic, really accurate sort of blocking simulation, and you've got to understand how the signals work, because in some of these you haven't got AWS to help you. I think you probably get a lot of fun out the back of it. And I think that sort of covers longevity, playability and variety. I think you kind of, the variety is a little bit limited, and obviously longevity, you've got, you know, 25 scenarios, which is a hell of a lot. It's more than you get from any other manufacturer of packs, so, you know, kudos to Armstrong Powerhouse for doing that for us, to give us that sort of longevity and playability. And then the last thing that I normally cover off is value for money, and that is a difficult one for me. Now, normally, you know, you look at a route, and the bog standard Dovetail Games ones, the cheapest one starts at around £10, that's UK price, and goes up to about £25. And I'm thinking, like, just trains packs as well. I bought Bristol and Avonmouth, I bought Exeter to Bristol, I've bought the new Western Main Lines pack, which is an amalgamation of all of them in Oxford, Paddington and a bit more, and they normally go up to about £25 UK price. this is, well, in fact, if I stop there, that is normally as much as what you have to buy. The thing with the Wherry Lines, whatever, is that it's $29.99 UK price. Yes, you get, Mark II coaches included with it, so that's pretty good. You get Class 37, it's reworked. But there is an emphasis that you have, prerequisite that you have other routes, which is very, very different to anything else that you purchase as an add-on for Train Simulator. So you absolutely must have the Gemmell London to Ipswich pack by Dovetail Games, which last time I looked was about £20, something like that. And if you've already got it, great. But instantly, if you haven't, that makes this pack £50 that you've got to buy if you want to run it. Which for me that was no problem because I already had London to Ipswich and it's a great route. It's one of them variety routes that I keep talking about. But in addition to that, you also need the Isle of Wight route, which Dovetail Games was reduced to £9.99. I didn't want that pack. I had no intentions of buying that pack because I don't want to drive just tube line stuff overground and only do passenger working. So actually, to get this pack working, you need to spend best part of £30 to Armstrong Powerhouse. You then need to buy £10 for Isle of Wight, and then you have to buy the London to Ipswich pack, which is £24.99. So you've got like £30, another tenner, £40, £60, well, £65 if you just want to buy the pack, if you haven't got those things already, which is quite steep. I mean, yes, you're going to get the other stuff to play, but if you just wanted this, that is a hell of a lot of money to splash out. The other thing is, if you want to use the scenarios, you also need the Just Trains Class 153. You need Dovetail Games Settled to Carlisle route, which gives you the Class 37. You need Armstrong Powerhouse's Class 90. And you need one of the following three packs, either Portsmouth Direct, West Coast Main Line Oversharp, or Western Line Scotland. So if you haven't got this lot already, you need to shell out a serious amount of money to actually use this pack. Which for me wasn't a problem, because I've got all of this stuff. Other than the Isle of Wight pack, I had all of this before, because I'm going to do all these reviews. I've got pretty much everything UK that I need to have. But for somebody who just bought Train Simulator and wanted this as an add-on, it's a very, very steep purchasing route to get one thing. But like I say, it's an extreme. You may have, a lot of people have been using Train Simulator for some time. You may have 50% of this stuff that you need. Well, actually, not that much to get you over the line. If you're a new user, it's extremely expensive. So yeah, that's sort of my comments and feelings around this. I think, to kind of sum it up, if you have Train Simulator and you've got all these add-ons already, this is a fabulous route, in terms of look, feel, authenticity. You cannot go wrong with this. I think if you want variety other than passenger service, it's the route and the choice of route that let it down, not the effort that the guys have gone in to make this, because it is phenomenal. I think if it's one of them, if you're a new user, then potentially, unless you're willing to shell out probably over £100, maybe even a bit more, I would stay clear until you've bought the other packs over time and got to where you want to go. Because if you just want this and you're a new user, you've got to buy a hell of a lot of stuff that maybe you don't want. So yeah, so what would I give this as a mark out of 10? And that's kind of why I'm in a bit of a quandary, because as a long-standing user of Train Simulator with all the add-ons, You know, this is a good 8 out of 10. You know, it's a phenomenal amount of effort that they've gone in. It looks great. It plays great. You know, it's realistic. I think the thing about some of the other route add-ons that you get is that, you know, you'll only end up. So if I take the London to Ipswich route, you get one train with it, and all the scenarios are built around one train. So there's no variety on the lines whatsoever. Where at least in these scenarios, you're seeing Class 37 working, you're seeing Class 153 working. There's Class 90s parked up in Norwich Station with DVT and all that kind of stuff. So there is that variety, as you would anticipate to see in a real life scenario if you stood on the side of the line. If you're a new train simulator user, I can only give this something like 5 out of 10. And it's not for the authenticity, it's not for the playability, it's purely because, you know, you've got to look at this as going, right, okay, if I buy Train Simulator today and I want this pack, I've then got to spend best part of over £100 to actually get this. And that's why I would say for a new user, it's maybe one to avoid if you're not willing to spend a hell of a lot of money. Thank you very much everyone for watching this review. I hope you found it informative. If you did, please like it, please subscribe, and hopefully next week we'll have another review for something else Train Simulator related. Take care, and I'll catch you in a bit. Bye bye.